You gotta love that fake clap in there. Synthesized clap. Good times. Great times. Gotta love fake drums. Wow. How are we? Dan RadioStyle. Hope you guys are doing good out there. I'm gonna chit-chat for a couple. Wait for a few more to come in before I normally just fire right on in and start the show off. Just want to say good morning, good day, good evening to each and every one of you out there. As my famed favorite Art Bell used to always start shows off. Bucket of Flea, nice to see you. John V, hello. Lakeisha, Lisa, Prayful, I guess. Nice to see you in here, guys. Martina, Happy Heart, oh, all the time. Jamila, Nicole, hello. Magdalena, Lucas de la, where'd you go? You jumped. Lucas de la Canal. Christine Evans, nice to see you as well. Autumn Beauty, such a good morning to each and every one of you. Hello from Nashville, or hey y'all, what yin's doing, what yin's into. Love it. London, good. Houston's involved here. I love it how we're across the world. Isn't that cool how the world is like that? Some of you just grew up like this, but for some of us, it's like, it's magic. It's like a long-distance phone call to a bunch of people all at the same time with my rotary telephone. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. A lot of us have a hard time with this whole concept of understanding when to talk, when not to talk, who to listen to. And it can be really confusing along the way. So if you're anything like me, a lot of the times you might be in this situation in life where you're like, I'm just not happy. I either want a relationship, I want maybe a better job, more income. Maybe I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Something happens at some point in our lives and we decide that we need to change the way things are. And we get a desire to do something. Either we get a desire to be with someone, we get a desire to do something, we get a desire to go somewhere, we get an idea pops. I want to be an artist. I want to be a musician. I want to be an airborne ranger, whatever your thing is. And we get these desires. And a lot of the times, our heart's screaming at us because this is the direction we've been asking. We've been saying, universe, higher self, whoever, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I get there? And then we get a desire, because that's how your soul talks to you. It feels something that's going to feel. So you're going to feel something. You're going to get a desire. You're going to get some sort of dream, hope, aspiration. And it's going to help lead you to your promised land. And invariably, most of us at that point always want to talk to people about it. Well, for good reasons, of course. One, I want to get a little feedback. Am I crazy? Do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? And sometimes that can have different results for us. Sometimes it shatters our confidence. Sometimes it's exactly what we needed to hear, that attaboy, that pat on the back, pat on the butt, run on your way. Sometimes it's in between. Neither good nor bad, but it's like, all right, thank you. Like, okay. A lot of the times the trick is in figuring out who to listen to and who not to listen to. Now, when I was becoming a DJ back in the day, I was in college at the time, actually. I was pre-med. Oddly, I'm a chem major by education, but went off into radio because it was awesome. But it was actually a gentleman that had a little hot dog cart. I've told this story before. Had a hot dog cart. I was a smoker at one point. He sold single cigarettes. I was always trying to quit. So I'd buy a cigarette and I'd smoke it and hang out and talk. And he was the one that kind of let me know, hey, they got this really cool radio program here at the college. You've got a cool personality and a great voice. You should check into it. And I'm like, really? And he's like, dude, seriously. And I'm like, all right. So I went and signed up for the class for the very next semester. First homework assignment we got. I went into the little labs and I started on it. And it instantly just fell in love. Like it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, this is what you're here to do, Dan. And I was like, this is awesome. This is great. Hopped out of the class, because of course, still smoking. In radio especially, it was like a thing you should do. Almost, it's not. It's horrible. And if anyone does it, I've got a great way you can stop it. But anyway, I went out and told the hot dog guy, I'm like, dude, the class is amazing. Like, thank you. This is awesome. Follow up and tell my best friend. My best friend at the time, I'm like, hey, buddy, I've fallen in love. I've found out what I'm here to do. Screw being a doctor. That's silly, right? I'm going to come out of school. I'm going to be in debt the way HMOs are. And this was, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. It was a while ago. Medicine was a little different back then. And I actually worked at a hospital at the time because I wanted to be a doctor, right? So I was talking to doctors. I wasn't just in a vacuum. And I suddenly just got this crazy idea. And my friend loved me. He wasn't a bad friend or anything like that. But he starts hitting me up with questions like, ooh, wow, that's really hard. Hardly anyone ever makes it. Are you sure you want to do this? Wow, you're going to have to move someplace else and just kind of start and pick up and do something. Right? He started going into a lot of the challenges that exist around me pursuing my desire. And really kind of, to a degree, started breaking my heart a little bit. Like, my friend's not supporting me on this. It's like my dream. Like, can't you feel my passion? And it's not his fault. It wasn't my friend's fault in any way, shape, or form. My friend was just doing what my friend does. Now, one of the great things that comes down to this process that we're all trying to do, again, heart desire, following this path, trying to find our way to our promised land, we've got to be careful who we talk to. Some are here to help guide you. Some are here to help get your souls out of bondage. Some are here to suggest, yes, here's a way you can go. And some kind of live in a world of doubt, disbelief, not really understanding how much of the outer world, all of it really, but how much of the outer world comes from inside of us. They don't understand it. They're not awake yet. They're not whatever. I don't know. For whatever reason, they haven't made that connection yet. It's okay. But they're not the ones necessarily to listen to, are they? They're going to tell you all sorts of things. Can't do that. It's not possible. No one can do that. No one can. No one's able to, whatever. And that's not necessarily going to get you to where you're trying to go. A lot of us have to remember, we create this movie. This is your movie. This is your belief, your reality, created by your consciousness, created by where you are at consciously right now. Oops, your whole world is created around you. You've made all the rules, you've made all the everything. And every person that walks into your life, you hand them a script and say, please perform this accordingly. Some of them are not going to perform it the way you want to, and some of them will. Well, they'll all perform it the way they need to, the way it should, but from where you're at consciously, you may want support and not get it, like my friend. Sometimes we need contrast. Again, we're all in different aspects of where we're at in this, right? So sometimes contrast is very helpful. Someone showing you something that you don't really want to focus on, or something that's not really part of this, or, hey, you might fail, and it's like, yes, but I might succeed. Thank you so much. Or sometimes it may be, but what, it's scary, you don't know, and it's like, that's kind of why I'm doing it, right? Like, you're answering all the questions. So sometimes having contrast helps solidify our place in our minds, because now we have answers to their questions. Like, oh, it's a good question, but I've got this. I'm going to do this. I can live with the choices I'm making. I can live with staying focused on this. To borrow Goddardisms, it feels natural because I can get myself behind it. I always feel like there's two of myselves. Like, there's the child part of myself and then the robot part of myself, right? And the robot part's like, we'll go forward no matter what. And the child's like, when are we going to get there? What time is it? I'm hungry. Do you got anything to do? And it gets annoying sometimes, but at the same time, if you appease that child within yourself, well, goodness gracious. It's amazing how far you can go without the chatter. Sometimes they just take naps. It's really nice. So again, your movie. Contrast comes into play. Contrast can be very, very helpful. Sometimes, if you focus too much time on contrast, it can be bad. So the litmus test I have used, the litmus test that I think is the proper way to try to go about deciding who you should listen to, who you shouldn't, is anytime you're trying to accomplish something. Are you trying to get a better job? Are you out there trying to make more income? Are you trying to get a new car, get a better lifestyle? Trying to figure out, what do rich people do? Are you someone that's actually trying to maybe fall in love with someone? Maybe there's a specific person that works in your office, or maybe somebody at school. Somebody that you care greatly about. And you're interested in maybe hooking up for a date. Maybe you're hooking up for a relationship. Maybe this is long-term. Maybe we're trying to get back together with an ex. All of the dreams fall into this. What you look for is somebody who has accomplished what you are doing, what you're trying to do. If you're trying to make it in radio, talk to people that have made it in radio, done voiceover, stuff like that. If you're trying to make it in a specific company, specific job, talk to people that do that type of work. Talk to people that have been successful in that, maybe even started businesses in that. Are you interested in falling in love? Talk to people that have been in love for years. Talk to people that have been married, if that's your idea, or if not long-term relationships. Talk to them about the secrets. Talk to them about what matters when it comes to getting through some of the hard times in relationships. Income's the same thing. Talk to wealthy people. What do you do? What do you not do? All those kinds of things. You talk to people that demonstrate what it is that you're trying to accomplish. If the person that's offering you advice, oftentimes not even sought after, sometimes they just give it to you. Thank you. I don't remember ever asking to hear what you thought, but thank you. Understand that if they've not done it ever, then don't listen to them as far as advice is concerned. See them as contrast. And yes, maybe there's contrast in your mind. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. No, you've got that rational part of your brain that's like, whoa, need an answer over here. You've got the child in the back seat that needs an answer. Why is this guy blue? Well, give him an answer because fairies sprinkle dust on it. Right? Or you could tell them the truth. Well, because blue's the shortest wavelength and it comes through very easily, and that's just why it reflects that, whatever. Right? Let's get into the obvious, but you don't want to lose them in the whole process. So ultimately, you need an answer that's sufficient for where you're trying to go. So contrast serves a purpose. You don't want to focus on it. You don't want to get lost on it. And certainly if someone's offering you advice on how to get to your dreams, be it good or bad, if they've demonstrated success in your endeavor, listen to them. Listen to them. They definitely know what they're talking about. Even if you disagree, if they've been successful, listen to them. If it's somebody that's not been successful, somebody that's not accomplished it, what do they know? I read in a book somewhere. Good for you. You've not accomplished anything. Why would I dare listen to you? Now, if they've accomplished something similar on the side, or maybe they've got some advice that's actually beneficial towards your goal. Example in radio. Oh, have you taken a class? Like one of my friends actually asked me that. Did you take a class? I'm like, dude, that's how I found this. I was in a class. He's like, oh, sweet. Good. So you're on your path. Like, or are you doing any actual live DJ work? You sure you love it? And there was one at the college. Yeah, no. I'm volunteering. I do one shift a week and I pick up shifts whenever I can. Oh my God, it's awesome. I love it. Sweet. Again, sometimes they'll ask questions that are good. Sometimes they'll bring up things that are helpful. Your higher self will again hand scripts to friends that maybe haven't demonstrated it to be there to be helpful. So finally, last part of all this. All right, Dan, now you've confused me. So you're saying if they've accomplished it, listen to it. Cool, easy, black and white, like that. If they haven't accomplished it, don't listen to it. Black and white, kind of like that. Thank you very much. Might be contrast. There might be value in that. Cool. Thank you, Dan. Now you're saying that people that have not accomplished it might say something that's helpful, might not say something that's helpful. Wait, huh? The last part of this, the last little trick. Does it support your dream or no? Your dream is your soul speaking to you. Your dream is your heart's desire. Your dream is your dream. Anyone handed a script in your movie that says anything contradicting your dream is part of that contrast story. Is definitely not part of, this is such a bad thing, is not part of the reality of what you're creating. That's how you know. Are they doubting it? Well, that's not helpful. Your dream, your heart screaming to you. Are you trying to tell me that your friend that's not you, not inside you, is somehow knows better inside themselves what's best for them? No. People don't. This is your movie. So you need to decide who to listen to. Those that are going to help me get to where I'm trying to go. Those that support the heart's desire, the screaming inside, no matter how crazy. DJs don't make a lot of money. Trust me, some of the people yelling at me at the time were wise to do so. But I accomplished something that was amazing and hard as heck to do because of determination, because of visualization, because of belief, because of essentially principles in the law of attraction. And I've accomplished a lot of other things using the same. When I'm trying to make something happen in my life, when I'm trying to develop something in my life that I desire, I listen to people that are supportive of that, or at least in the middle. If they're on the other side, thank you, awesome. Might think about it for a second and be like, yeah, but I'm going to make this happen. Like, great, yeah, it could fail, but it could succeed. Anytime any of that kind of stuff happens in my life, I know it could be bad, but it also could be good. And I'm going to make it good. It's my movie, my decision. Decide who to listen to, decide who to talk to based off of what they know, what they can do to help. Otherwise, you're just going to cause doubt. You're going to cause a little critter in the back seat to ask a lot of difficult questions that you don't have answers to. And that is where you start to get yourself into trouble, doubt. So try to keep yourself on the up and up. Try to keep the right environment around you, and you'll be amazed at how your success seems to change just by putting your focus where it should be. Hopefully that helps everybody. All right, awesome. Now it's time to Q&A. If you guys have questions, now is a great time to start asking them. I'm going to try to see if I can catch up on some of this awesome stuff. Got Essex out there. It's very, very cool. It's funny. There's been a couple little things around Essex. Is that like a big area? Is it prominent? It seems like it's got like a reputation to it. And I don't fully understand England and how all the little areas and your accent depends on where you're at. And there's kind of a class thing, sort of. I don't know. It's a little complicated from what I understand out here. Out here, you can actually have sound like somebody from a poor area and then turn around and be super successful still sounding like you're poor. So it's kind of, you never know. Probably the same out there. Who knows? Got a lot of people out here. Chicago, Israel. That's very cool. Got a couple friends from out there. UK is out here big time. Negative, negative, negative. That's not good. Ooh, I didn't see what happened. But hey, nice to see Gary in here as well. Dan, ego versus divine mind. Oh, man, that's awesome. Okay, to touch that real quick, Prefel, or try to, because I'm going to do a whole show on that. I think that's a great idea. Ego is the thing. So the easiest way, and I really honestly, I've worked, and I'm not perfect. Okay, I'm going to right out of the gate. Not perfect, but I've worked very, very hard, many, many, many years with my ego and trying to hear it, but not let it rule or guide what I do. The ego is the part of ourselves that's like, I'm pretty good, huh? Or I need a pat on the back, or I need someone to notice. Like the part of ourselves that looks in the 3D world and wants some sort of verification back. And that's kind of, to me, where the ego is at. And if the ego is involved in decisions, it can kind of get you to do things for the wrong reasons and oftentimes lead you down the wrong paths. And oftentimes when you're given choices where normally you would have chosen one, when the ego gets involved, you'll choose the other. And that oftentimes, again, can lead you down a path that ends up kind of getting you in trouble. Divine mind is looking out for everyone, the best of all, the biggest pictures possible. It's just generally, this is a good idea in general for many. Not that this is going to be good for me or this is going to work for me. Like, it's just a different mindset. Like, you see it almost as, that's just a great idea. Like, oh, wow, that would be great for a lot of people. Rather than, yeah, I need to, or I want people to see, or people would notice me, or, right? Like, it's usually if you're pointing back at yourself and like, that's why I'm doing it. And it's very ego-esque and yeah, it can get you in a little bit of trouble. That's my take on it anyway. Egos, I think, is bad. I think ego is one of those things. I don't even know, like serving a purpose, like it's awareness of that, our relationship, I think, kind of to reality. But outside of that, it's got a lot of drawbacks. So I don't know. Ego is something I don't fully understand. I'm not a psychologist. That'd be a fun, anyone that's a major psychologist out there that is, maybe you've done your doctorate on ego work. That'd be fun to talk about because I don't know. I'm under the impression that ego's sort of not good. And I would love to chat with that with someone that disagrees with me or hopefully agrees and says, no, and here's why, and here's what it represents. That would actually be very fun. So that all being said, Karen Hawkins, nice to see you as well. Infinity, nice. That's a cool name. I like that. Man, your script analogy. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, by the way, just while you bring it up, scripting is, that's how I met my girlfriend. I'll say that. I mean, that was really what played the biggest part in my life was scripting and really deciding and thinking. And again, as I've said many a time, it's not necessarily the words on the piece of paper when you're done that matters. So many people when manifesting, it's a similar analogy, but so many people when manifesting are focused solely on the destination. and fail to remember it's not the destination really that matters at all. It really is not. At the end of your life, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I had $1 million. You're going to be like, oh, all the great things I did. I traveled, I met people. Like, it's the journey that we take with us. And the same process comes to, oh, I totally lost my train of thought. Such a bummer. Yeah, scripting, exactly. The point of moving through the scripting process is actually getting it in your mind. Like, you're working through it. I'm imagining what I need and then putting it into paper. It's the creation of the words on paper that is actually useful when it comes to scripting. The actual words on paper are beneficial to a degree afterwards, but certainly the experience of it is where all really 80% of the power is. Like, most of the power is right there, as I make up percentages on the spot. Yeah, but it's probably close. Apes 150, good stuff. I agree that the universe is made from divine light. I love it. I did actually what Liquid Light. It's a Neville Goddard chapter I did not too long ago. It's great video. If you guys want to see one of those, it's just search Liquid Light and you'll find it. It's pretty easy. Maria Panulo, not to go off topic, but could you tell about the quit smoking, please, Dan? Oh, sure. Way back in the day, I think I've got a link below, I hope. Easy Way to Stop Smoking by, was it Alan Carr, I think his name was. The dude, first off, he's a British guy, so all my Brits that were on earlier are still on, hopefully. He smoked like 7 packs a day. And one, you have to be in that place where you're really finally ready to quit. If you're not really ready to stop smoking, and it's just more an issue of how bit of a challenge it is, then don't bother yet. Make sure you get yourself to the place where you're ready, because it is a commitment. Like, you don't half quit. You don't half stop. You either do it or don't. It's a very Yoda-esque moment in life. You know, there's try not, either do or don't, right? Like, you can only do one or the other. You're either going to fail or succeed. But the book was super powerful, and it's called Easy Way to Stop Smoking. Highly recommend it. And yeah, it made all the difference for me. It literally said, the first part of the book, it's like, keep smoking while you read this. I'm like, oh, I'm in. I got nothing to lose. And literally over a weekend, I think I bought the book on a Friday afternoon, literally chain smoked and read the book over the weekend. Literally Sunday morning at like 11:17, I wrote down the time, I put out my last cigarette, because it literally tells you to light up your last cigarette. And it's like you're, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through the book, maybe a little further. You're a good chunk of the way into the book, and it says, hey, light your last smoke. And I did, and that was the last cigarette I ever smoked, cold turkey. Nothing else, no patch, no nicotine. It talks all the questions, all the challenges, all the hard parts about smoking. Anyone that's never smoked, you don't understand what it's like to stop. So don't give advice to people. Again, it kind of goes back to the point. You just don't understand trying to quit something that's an addiction. And this book actually helps me, at least as a smoker, and all the stupid things we say. It relaxes me, it calms me down, it makes right, all the crap we tell ourselves. I'll get fat. Like, all this stuff is covered in the book, and the answers are amazing. I'm sorry I went way off topic, but in all honesty, if I caused one person out there to stop smoking because of what I just said, I just saved a life, and that's way more important. I could have lost all my subscribers. I don't care. That's worth it. And I'm not, by the way, and I'm not like I'll go stand next to someone that's smoking. Like, I love the smell still. I'll be honest with you. I don't desire to go ever buy a pack or smoke myself, but I still like the smell. Which is weird. Most people don't feel that way, but anywho. Nicole, nice to see you in here. You've got a question. Dan, your passion for the subject is unbelievably inspiring. There is a need to have community like this, and where people can be reminded of these messages and places to go to share and to be inspired. Well, I appreciate that. That's a large title to wear, but I'm just happy to be a part of this with all of you. I love talking about this stuff. People seem to think I'm all right at telling about it, so yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. I really dig it. It's a lot of fun. Sadie, was your girlfriend SP or someone you didn't know prior? I didn't know her prior. I did a video, Strength to Walk On. You can go find it. I'm not going to talk about it, but I had my reasons for why I stepped in the direction I went. Scripting was how I made a big transition with that, and it was even while I was chasing after a specific person that I came to a lot of realizations. And I'm going to say, and it's not all cases, but in some cases, we have things in our life that are kind of helpful to demonstrate lessons to ourselves. I do think the soul's a part of life and our evolution and all that. So sometimes things work out a little differently than we want. It's not because law of attraction doesn't work. It's because of understandings that we need to come to before we can really evolve further in our life. It's just kind of the way it is. Autumn, UK is my ancestral homeland. Ancestral, that's pretty awesome. I feel like that's very cool. Anyway, Scottish from Mr. Gary out there. That's cool. Nicole, Tuning in here helps me remind the person I want to be. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, you guys have no questions today. This is fantastic. You're gonna either cause a much shorter show, which some might say is good, but I'm curious if anyone's got any questions out there. I will kind of just chat a little more about one other thing about listening to others that I kind of wanted to bring up, and it's a chunk of my population, and I'm not sure if we've got any people that are necessarily from India in some of those locations, but I get a lot of people that ask me questions about arranged marriages and all that kind of stuff. And I will say, in life, it sounds like, and I've talked to actually a bunch of my Indian friends. I work with Indian people, and I love Indian people, by the way. I have asked a lot of questions, and I've tried to understand a lot of this. And ultimately, it seems like a lot of these things are in the best mindset or in the best intentions, but sometimes kind of work out in a way that's a little frustrating. What I've found is this is a time of transition on this whole planet. And either you're going to be the generation that's going to change and do things different, or potentially, hopefully, maybe your parents will be the generation that does something different. I've certainly talked to a number of friends that let them kind of do their own thing for the most part and said, if you want, I'll help, but if you don't, I won't. And it was just like, wow, that's really cool. So there's an evolution that's occurring. This is, again, your movie. So if you'd like to change your movie, listening to what everybody else is doing and continuing down that path, you're going to get what's down that path. That's what happens when you follow what everybody else is saying. But sometimes, if you want to be part of change, sometimes if you want to be the generation that makes a difference, sometimes if you want to change the flow of the tide, you've got to do something different than what everybody else does. So that's the question that I would pose, or that's the question that should be asked to ourselves is, what am I hoping to accomplish, and do I want to be part of the solution, or do I want to continue accepting the way it is and then just complain about it? So something to think about, and I think that's a good analogy for a lot of us that have a lot of pressure to go down certain paths in life. You should be a doctor because I'm a doctor and your dad before me and blah, 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 right? And you're like, all right, but I don't like medicine. I think you guys suck. You're quacks, right? I'm not saying that's true, but I'm just, whatever. So sometimes that can get people to go down paths that they're not actually happy about. So there you go. Tips to accelerate law of attraction. What I have found when it comes to accelerating, and this is the hard part. One, if you're focused on making it faster, I've thought about this. Like, how can I make it faster? You've already separated yourself from it, truly. The second you're asking, how can I speed this up? I've kind of already separated myself from it because now I'm not accepting the fact that I am it. And that really is the trick. The more you are conscious of it, the more you keep your consciousness in the place where I have it already, the longer you can hold yourself in that feeling. And I don't mean happy, I don't mean in love. I mean, it's not an emotion feeling. It's a feeling of like confidence. It's an emotion, a feeling of knowing. It's a feeling of like this is happening. It's I don't know. It's hard to put in words, that's for sure. But it's not an emotion. It's not like, oh, I'm in love. No, you're not trying to hold the feeling of love. That's great. We love a lot of people. You're holding the feeling of success. The longer you hold that, or as I've been talking about in a lot of my videos recently, it's like putting on a new pair of shoes. And the longer you can keep that new pair of shoes on and break them in, the sooner it feels comfortable to be in the new shoes. But so many of us put the new shoes on and we're like, ooh, I'm getting blisters. I don't like it. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. So I take them off and I put the old shoes back on. And old shoes are old ways, old world. You don't get your new stuff ever. You're never going to get it if you keep your consciousness down low. How can I speed it up? Well, if you don't get your consciousness up with the new shoes, never. But if you can get your consciousness up to the new shoes and keep it there very quickly. And that's the trick, is keeping it there. That's what they talk about living in the end, is keeping that feeling active, like I have this already. And it is manifesting itself into my life. It is crystallizing into this physical world. And that is how it happens quicker. Hopefully that helps. That's really the trick. All right, Sadie, let's see. I think you got a question here. Sometimes I struggle with everyone as you pushed out. I've set boundaries, but that's my fault. How can I do both? So the quote I know of from Goddard, and even all the stuff that a few of you guys have shared with me, is everything is you pushed out. Everything is you pushed out. A number of law of attraction people have turned that into everyone is you pushed out. So I struggle with it too. I think we are all actors and this is a stage. I believe everybody is their own actor in their own play and we're all playing parts in each other's lives. I do not believe others are me. But I do believe that I hand people a script when they come into my life. So the us pushed out, the projection of it, the fact that I'm asking people to play a role in my life is us pushed out, or you pushed, or people are us pushed out, whatever, like that, yes. But are they me? No. They're not some figment of my imagination. They're not a creation of myself that I should be able to manipulate. No. There's someone that I can definitely get them to play a part, and they will play the part as I ask them to, unless I ask them to do something that they just plain don't want to do. Then, if I'm truly doing a production, I would say, all right, casting agents, casting service, this person over here is not willing to do the part I need them to, which is fine. I need somebody to fill that role, and bam, someone shows up to fill that role, and you're like, oh, perfect. That's kind of the way it works. A lot of us get very focused on how it has to play out, and we can get stuck sometimes in negotiating for the proper actor or actress to show up in our play. But outside of that, this is our play. And so that's kind of my understanding of it. I hope that helps. But the everyone as you pushed out, I think, is thrown around, and I honestly believe it's caused more confusion than good. But that's, I don't know. I keep having my take on it. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's see, Gary, how's the best way to handle negative family members? I'll be honest, I've sort of strayed from some of the negative family members I have. I talk to them, I love them, never going to change that. But do I spend a lot of time with them? No. Do I spend time with negative people? No. Did I tell them? Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're just really negative. It's really hard to hang out with you. I love you, but meh. And especially during all this political crap, I got a couple family members that just have to talk about politics. We got rules in our family that you're not allowed to talk about politics during family dinners because two of the members of our family are so hardcore. They get in fights every meal if allowed to go unfoistered. I don't know if that's the proper word, but it popped into my head. But that being said, yeah, we both be like, whoa, hey now, come on guys. We love each other, remember? So it's one of those things where you definitely want to make sure you try to keep the right people in your life. They suggest that if you want to have success in anything or in any way, who are the 5 closest people around you? And what do they represent? And are they negative people? Are they positive people? Are they people in that industry? And if you really look at the 5 closest people, that gives you a great indication of where your consciousness is. And if you like it, and if they fit, and if that's a good assessment of where you want to go, awesome. If you've got the proper team put together, even better. But if you don't, you need to look at who are the people I'm hanging out with. Why am I hanging out with these people? Why am I so stuck maybe in some old way, right? Friends change as our consciousness change. That's actually one of the easiest ways to tell that you're altering your life. You will start to notice that different people start to show up in your life in different ways. And some people that used to be close aren't anymore. And we're so accustomed to wanting to keep everybody close and have that feeling forever. But the fact is we're constantly evolving. And if you want to have what you used to have and used to feel back in the day, it's hard to move forward. And it's certainly hard to have what you want to have because you're still holding on to the past. So again, this thing manifests itself in a lot of interesting ways. Ultimately, expansion causes change, and change is what you want. And changes will show you the direction you're heading. And it will be some of that proof that you need. Hope that kind of helps. I'm all over the place here. Amy K, what is the other YouTube channel you have that goes more into the out there stuff? It's been hard to kind of do a video every day because I've made a pact with myself to, really work on RadioStyle as the primary. The secondary channel is called On the Fringe, and it is some of the more crazy stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff on Law of One. It is, I think, one of the single best pieces of literature out there for kind of common day. It was done in the 80s, so it's still not the newest stuff. I think, honestly, a lot of us are talking about the newest stuff now, but that being said, it was done in the 80s, and it was certainly a nice way to look at how manifestation works, how law works, how evolution works, what our souls, what graduation or harvest is. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. So, On the Fringe with RadioStyle, thank you for letting me plug my other channel. But yeah, that is the other channel. I will try to put a link somewhere, maybe after this show, or if not, On the Fringe. Hopefully you find it. I feel like it's a picture of like an astronaut sitting on the edge of a planet or something. It's kind of a cool little image. Anyway, that all being said, Happy Heart, please speak on the issue of health. How do you feel the feeling of physically feeling good when you feel horrible? There's a lot of feelings in that sentence. How do you feel the feeling of physically feeling good when you feel horrible? The focus on feelings, the focus on what it's like. I mean, you just have to put yourself in the place of, I am better, I am healthy, because the acknowledging the bad feelings kind of continue to keep them in play. Now, I want to take one step back, how we got to the place where there's a health issue. If it's something that was maybe more of a long-term consciousness thing, cancers, diabetes, like there's a lot of, and I'm not a doctor, so please, and I don't even play one on TV. But if it's more of one of those long-term kinds of things, it's one thing, and we'll talk about that. If it's more of a short-term thing, like I fell down and busted a hip or something like that, that's kind of a different thing. Now, if it's a recent thing, just to get that one out of the way, I would really look at what's going on in life lately. You out of balance, out of sync. A lot of the times the injury itself is symbolic kind of where we need to look at our life. If you maybe break a leg and now you're not mobile, maybe you've been running around too much. Maybe you need to stop for a moment. Maybe you need to stop and pump the brakes and rest for a moment because there's too much going on and you really haven't had time to think and feel and figure out where you need to go next. Or, whatever. So a lot of the times the injuries we might sustain are means of changing or altering our course in a very quick kind of fashion. Long-term ailments come from long-term consciousness. And so, yes, you've been wearing the same pair of shoes for 30 years. Those shoes are freaking comfortable. They are so comfortable. You put on any other kind of shoe, it is very uncomfortable. And yes, pain can fall into that. Yes, we get blisters when we put on new shoes. And I'm not trying to belabor the metaphor, but there's truth in it. So when you are feeling pain and that's kind of all you can focus on, it is challenging. So finding ways to deal with the pain, I would definitely do research. A lot of the times understanding this stuff. So, meditating, maybe look up people that have figured out different techniques to sort of not feel pain. Again, I don't have all the answers for you, but I would think meditation would be part of that. Maybe there are some alternative herbs and stuff that might actually kind of help a little bit. Like there might be some remedies out there that aren't necessarily as bad for you as maybe pharmaceuticals. So there's a lot of different ways that you might be able to get yourself to a place where it doesn't hurt as much and you can focus more on how life is good and how I'm going to be out walking around and I'm going to be out, swinging the tennis racket again or out on the golf course again or, running again or whatever your thing is. Like have that end result that represents your health has happened, right? Whatever it is. Like I don't know what you got going on for you right now, but if you were fully healthy, what would you be doing? Focus on that. Have that result. Before my mom passed away, this is the last little thing I'll say on it, but it was her last year of life, and the thing I kept trying to get her to do, and I failed, but she was ready to pass, so whatever. I mean, I tried. But I kept trying to get her to plan on going somewhere, and she had never been to the Grand Canyon. And the Grand Canyon was something that I kept trying to get her to focus on and envision being there and seeing it. Because by doing that, it gets her to the place where she's got a reason to live, where she's got an out there planned that she needs to get to, and it helps extend things to that out there. And if in order to get there, it requires you to get healthier, then a lot of the times your body will come to that healthier place because you've requested it as being necessary to get to your next dream. A lot of times we start to kind of give up on things. And that's where I think things start to creep in, or we've got bad consciousness, we got hate in our heart, sometimes there's stuff that needs a little bit of healing within our own consciousness. And then once we've put on the new shoes, it's amazing what we start to see in our lives around us. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. Some video this week was great. Thank you. Intentions as lambs. Is intentions as lambs? Sure. Desires I like kind of maybe more than intentions, but intention's a big part of it. Like if I intend to do something, so semantics is the tough part of this, like the different word choices, especially considering some of the videos I've said in the past, and really after a lot of this consciousness stuff that I've experienced with Your Faith is Your Fortune. I'll be honest, that book has profoundly changed me. It was very cool. I wish I would have found it a long time ago, but it's really helped round out my understanding of life in a big way. But the consciousness is everything. So yeah, that all being said, that kind of works. Let's see. I've always been attracted to forward-thinking things. I like that. Forward-thinking things. Let's see here. I manifested my dream apartment. This is from Galia. I had specific needs and found them all in it. I bought it a few months ago and then had to give it back due to a stupid law. Okay, there isn't enough characters to explain. Okay. So maybe you get a chance to sort of redo it a little bit. Maybe it wasn't totally perfect. Maybe you can get back to the same perfect place. I don't know. I mean, if the perfect place is what's supposed to happen, then obviously that needs to occur somehow, some way, right? So whatever's happening in your current reality or world is just an obstacle that's meant to be sidestepped, gone over, gone under, pulled, vaulted over, parachuted past, zip lined over, well, however you want to do it. Get an airplane and fly over it and stay. Thank you very much. Yeah, however you want to get over it, get past it, get through it, put explosives on it and blow the hell out of it. Whatever works for you. But yeah, I don't consider obstacles in the real world. Like whenever anybody says, all this stuff happened and then this, it's like, well, okay, then this is fine. But it's either A, for a reason, usually the case, or B, kind of meant to show you something. That's cool. Look at it. Be all right with it. No, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It's going to get you there. Just keep focusing on where you're trying to go. Understand this is part of it for sure. And you're going to be okay. It will work out. There's always a way. And look back, all of you, every single one of you, the 87 of you right now, look back, actually 86 because one of them's me. Look back at everything in your life and notice it's always worked out some way, shape, or form, right? It's always worked out. It always does. It's one thing to remember when you're going into a problem. Things always work out. They just do. So that's good. Okay, so, Nicole, speaking on changing family traditions, the royal monarchy experiencing that change with Prince Harry and Meghan, I'm sure bringing up lots of contrast. Not just that, but the Queen's sick now. I don't know if you've heard that. I just heard this recently. She's ill, I guess. So, I don't know. Very weird stuff kind of going on in the whole world right now. We got riots in France, Portugal, Puerto Rico or something. I don't know. There's riots all over the place. It was happening, I think, in Iran as well, right? So we got that going on. We got, what else? England, Brexit, right? And this whole Meghan thing and Princess Di tie-in and all that. Very interesting. So again, and then we got the crazy stuff going on in the United States, right? So, and Trudeau in Canada seems like he's been in the news. There is major change going on in the world, folks. I've been talking about it. I'm not partisan in any way. I'm part of the change. I'm part of where we get to in the end of this. And it's definitely manifesting some very weird stuff that's freaking people out. But I assure you, this is change. We're all heading in a good place that we've been trying to go for a long time. But yeah, it looks really freaking scary. They always said, right, there'd be wars and rumors of wars. I kind of think that's sort of where we're at. The whole Revelations is kind of an interesting book to read in the Bible for those of you that are into the Bible. I would suggest just giving that one a little once over and then kind of look at where we're at right now and go, huh. So I don't think it's end of times. Sorry, I'm not trying to be crazy. Just like people are falling out. They're like, oh, I got to go dig a bunker. No. It's not that bad. I promise you. Anyway, I'm happy to, you guys are good. I'll prove you wrong. Watch. Anyway, Sadie, yes, it's confused me a lot. They're driving me crazy. Awesome. Let's see, I'm manifesting my SP, but I do run into some blocks, wondering if this is who God wants me to be with. So, again, a lot of times we put it outside of ourselves, right? You're wondering if this is who God wants you to be with. God's created this ability in you. God gave you this. God gave you the I am. God told you how to use the I am. This is your movie. God said, hey, I'm going to make you director of your own movie. You can do whatever you want. And you're like, wait, you don't care what I do? And God's like, no, just have fun. I made this playground for you. I don't care which playground toy you play on. Play on them all. Play on only one of them. Just play in the sand. Do whatever you want. It's your playground. God loves you so much. He lets you do whatever you want. He doesn't care. He doesn't. He loves you. He wants you to be happy. So God's question to you would be, what do you want? Does he work for you? Does he make you happy? Is he going to help you feel like all the things are right? I mean, is he, the type of guy to have a family with? I don't know what your big dream is. Or are you feeling like you're having to use law of attraction to change him? Well, those are some of the questions I would ask yourself. If you're not happy with the way they are as is, then, and you're requiring them to change in order to fit your desire, that's where I start to kind of throw flags out on the field, because I'm like, wait, something's not right here, and that's not really love. Love is something that doesn't care. Love is something that loves regardless. Love gives you wings and you can soar. It's very different than, I love you, but this thing, or I love you, but the way you act. Well, if they're not a good fit, maybe they're not who you should be with. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying. Anne Holloway, okay. Your other channel looks fascinating. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. It's different stuff. I don't put it on here because it's like people get upset when I talk about some of the crazier esoteric stuff. I'm into a lot of crazy stuff, guys. I really am. It's sort of what's caused me to become good at law of attraction, to be honest with you, is my broader understanding of everything. And again, there's volumes to learn for me. I love it. But yeah, that's some of the places where I talk about some of the more crazy stuff that does get brought up on here. And I love it when it does. People brought up magic and all sorts of cool stuff on here. It's fantastic. But that's actually more topics for my other channel. And again, Law of One. Awesome. Look them up. LLE Research Group did stuff. Carla and two other dudes. I never remember their names. I don't know why. I always remember Carla. But yeah, they did amazing stuff. And I actually, years ago, small aside, sorry, years ago dated someone that was very much like Carla. One of the most gifted channels I've ever met. Literally, there was numerous times where I couldn't find stuff at the house. And I hit her up. I'm like, where do you feel like it's at? And she'd do like 85% of the time, she was on the money, like on the money. And a few times, she actually taught me how to get good at that. It's funny, but you can literally, if there's something you're looking for, I might as well just say what it is. If there's something you're looking for, you can close your eyes and imagine it. Imagine seeing it where it's at. Just imagine seeing it. And what you do by doing that is you can see where it's at. And sometimes you'll notice, hey, I see like a yellow folder or like a yellow book. And then it's like, you're looking for your keys. You're like, yeah, I keep seeing like a yellow book. I'm trying to see my keys, but I see a yellow book. It's like, because a book is on your keys. So go do a quick walk of your house, find the yellow book, lift it up, and you'll be like, oh, no way. Because I kid you not, I've done it a bunch of times. All of us can do it. I'm not special. I'm no different than anyone else. All you guys can do it. Just most of us don't realize we can do it and don't try. That's really the difference. You don't try, or you think it's evil to try, or who knows. I don't know. Brian Harris. I found that manifesting something in the future keeps it just over the horizon. Yes. Including a house that stayed on the market 4 years. Yes. Without a doubt, if it's something you're going to do, you'll never do it just so you can going to do it one day. Always. I've used the example. I've used it frequently because this is something that happens in my own life. And I've caught myself now a lot. I've caught myself even a few times recently and have gotten very good at back to my old patterns, or good patterns. But going to the gym was one for me. I'm going to go to the gym today. I need to go to the gym was another one. Same example. Need to. That's even better because, yeah, it implies that you haven't gone and you've created this situation where you should, but you're not going to, are you? So what I turn around and say is, I am going to the gym today. By phrasing it that way, I have managed to get myself to the gym 3 times a week, 4 times really, because I do a cardio thing pretty heavy on Saturday, right? Like you care. But I am. And all that happens, and it's just because I've been very determined at doing it. So yes, by putting it off into the future, you will find a lot of things never happen. Gary, you're saying some really nice words, man. I appreciate that. Let's see, Ray San. Hello, Dan. Hi, Ray. When people talk about third party when manifesting SP, does that mean a wife, a fiance? Is it okay to break a marriage with the law of attraction? Everybody's lives come into play. This whole, again, is it us pushed out? I mean, are these people you, literally? Well, you could even look at it like that. Say, for example, you're a person that is in love with another person, and that other person's very in love with that person, right? These two others that we can see in our lives, they love each other. And I decide I'm going to take that away from both of you. Now, one of you might be stoked to be with me. The other is going to have his heart broken. That's okay. I'm all right with that. That's why there's a commandment called, I will not covet my neighbor's wife, and I will not covet my neighbor's goods. Because if they don't want that to happen, meaning if it's not an unhappy marriage that's looking for a divorce, then you're actually kind of karmically creating a problem for yourself. And that is one thing to keep in mind is, am I asking to create disharmony, or am I asking to create harmony? And in the case of a marriage, if it's a harmonious marriage and I'm trying to break it up, I'm asking for disharmony. If it's a disharmonious marriage and I'm asking to be a part of one of their lives, I'm actually seeking harmony with one of the parties, which will probably help the other party single up so they can maybe experience harmony. So it depends on the situation. And I would say be careful what you send out, because what you send out comes back on you tenfold. So if you're creating or trying to create disharmony because you desire that more than the rationale of others being happy, if you desire to create disharmony, disharmony will come back to you Tenfold. That's what they say. I don't know the exact number, but it is way, way more than onefold. Way, way, way more. Tenfold's probably pretty good. Could be more than that. So just be careful what you wish for, as they say, and be careful what you're sending out, because you're getting that back. Again, your movie. Everything you send out in your movie comes back to you. And if you're asking someone to do something that they don't want to do, they can always say, yeah, no, sorry. Let's see. Man in VC, yo, what's up, bye-bye? Nice to see you in here as well. Miss Hill, cool. Always nice to see you in here. All right, crazy fun. Miss Hill, Dan, if God doesn't care about what we want, why does our intention tell us to do this or that or not choose this person? Later to find out we avoided a situation. Because God, again, has given us this ability to communicate with all the people here. Our higher selves talk to each other. God selves, I mean, there's consciousness. God created this higher self. Again, let's not get overly lost in the semantics, but that soul part of ourself, the God part, whatever, is able to communicate with others. And there are lessons, again, to be learned. Sometimes people come into our lives to demonstrate what we don't want. They might seem really, really awesome. They're going to have like 20% or 50% of the wrapper is going to be all shiny and perfect. The book's going to look awesome on the outer cover. And then you open it up and read it and you're like, this is horrible. This is a horrible book. Had such a beautiful cover. Can't judge a book by its cover, right? Sometimes we attract people in our lives to demonstrate that there's more to our lives than some of the shallowness that some of us are seeking. And I'm not saying we're shallow, but sometimes think about some of the things that I just want someone to talk to me. Like, it's kind of shallow. Like, you could have a deep conversation with someone. You could have a deep relationship with, like, there's more to it. Like, take it further. You're being shallow, and that your dreams could be so much bigger. So again, sometimes people are not appropriate fits for other people. As much as there's attraction and chemistry, doesn't mean they're a good fit. It's like Lego pieces. If you got a funky Lego piece, no, a puzzle piece is better. You got a funky puzzle piece, you can mash it into the hole, but it won't fit. And now you got this like eye and then part of a hand, and you're like, well, those definitely don't go together, but I'm going to force them. So that's not a bad analogy. I make up this crap on the fly, folks. I don't know how I do this. Love thy neighbor as yourself. So true. Golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. If you live life by that rule, you will go far. I promise you. People will open doors for you wherever you go. Treat others as you would like to be treated. I don't care who you are. I don't care how important you think you are. I like the phrase, put your pants on one leg at a time like anybody else. I don't, oddly. I sit on the bed in both legs, and then I stand up and zoop up, right? So I don't even know about that phrase anymore. That phrase needs to go, frankly, because I don't stand up and put my pants on. I sit down on my bed and put my pants on. Anyway, maybe I'm the weirdo. Possibly, but it's much more efficient. I'll just say that. Thank you very much. Kim W's in here. Very cool. You're not from Washington, are you? I don't, for some reason, I have you associated there. Anyway, Dan, do you unto others? It's so true. Yes, there it is again. I used remote viewing to find an optimal desire. I sidestepped ego and helped it feel naturally now. That's pretty awesome, Brian. I love remote viewing. There's a number of places. Farsight Press is one that pops off the top of my head if you guys think of a YouTube channel. The dude's kind of creepy looking and freaky looking, but the people like Janae and Princess and there's some dudes, they're really good. It's very interesting. So Farsight Press, if any of you are interested in remote viewing and a channel that I think is pretty set towards that kind of stuff. And again, that'd probably belong more in my other channel, to be honest with you. But yeah, love that stuff. Very, very into that stuff. People talk about, what manifesting channels do you listen to? I don't really listen to manifesting channels, I'll be honest. I listen to other stuff just because I'm intrigued in a lot of other people. Actually, if you want someone that I think is pretty cool from the manifesting side of life, that's huge right now. And I don't like his thumbnails per se, but I do like what he talks about. It's that Aaron Doty dude. That guy's awesome. Best I can tell anyway. I mean, he's got some ego involved. None of us are perfect. So again, I can look at somebody and be like, yeah, there's some stuff I'd probably not want to do myself, right? We're all learning, but yeah, I think for the most part, his message is pretty solid. Sharon Combs, do the same thing. We're not running out of questions, by the way, folks. Oh, Kim, you're in San Francisco. That's right. That's why I felt like you were north, but I guess I pushed you up further. Yeah, if anyone else has more questions, we're pushing at the hour mark, which is probably groovy in the big person standpoint. Yeah, I'm more than willing to answer more questions if you guys have any, but if not, it has been a pleasure as always. I do want to just kind of round out and remind you guys the whole point of the initial video, which is really look at what people are saying to you, what you're asking to talk to others about. When it comes to your manifestation, are you trying to manifest something and then talking to people that have no knowledge of manifesting because you want to look like you know all this stuff about it? Well, again, ego, that's ego. And by having those conversations, you'll actually find that it's going to be detrimental to what you're trying to manifest. Are you wanting to talk about manifesting and trying to find somebody that you can talk to? Believe it or not, there are people that will be like, I understand manifesting and I understand the rules and I understand that whatever I let you talk about and believe is going to get you to where you're at. And if I'm talking to you and you're saying something that kind of contradicts, then as a good friend, I help sort of steer you back towards your dream. Then I'm being a good friend. I'm being helpful. It's kind of like a law of attraction coach, right? We're trying to help you. So there are people to talk to. There are people you shouldn't. There are people you should take advice from, and there are people you shouldn't. The power of discerning the right thing to do versus the wrong thing to do is what so many of us don't do well. A lot of people want black and white. I want to know what I can do and what I can't do, and that's not how this works. There are times when you should do, and there are times when you shouldn't do. We need to learn that discernment to figure out which is the best choice in this situation. And ultimately, is it making you feel better about your dream and desire and goal? Because it's coming from your heart. It's coming from your soul. It needs to happen. It should happen. It's okay to happen. You deserve this to happen. So if that's the case, then there has to be a way to do it. And if I've got someone over here chatting about how it's not going to happen, sorry, buddy, I gotta put my hand on your face and say, talk to the hand, because it ain't happening. Now, if it's someone that's offering advice that's maybe, well, have you thought about classes that you might need to take for this job? Have you thought about certifications that might, like, those are good questions. They may not have accomplished it, but they're asking good questions that are probably here to assist you, or possibly even contrast, or I've already answered that, cool, so that, you know, the child in the back seat is going to be okay with my decision. So understand that we need to be careful who we share with and be careful who we trust. And when we do that, and when we listen to those who have demonstrated that they can do what I'm seeking, and I listen to them, and I follow some of that guidance, and take the good guidance and the bad guidance and kind of rationalize it along the way, you'll find you reach your dreams far quicker than most people who just blather on to everybody everywhere, because they have all sorts of contrasts that they're having to deal or activate and get through. Hopefully that makes a difference. I'm not seeing any other questions here. The Fringe, On the Fringe, I think is what it's called. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. That might make it easier since we're at the end of the video, right? Not going to matter too much. Let's see, YouTube. And it is, I am a subscriber to myself, fortunately, because why wouldn't I? There it is, On the Fringe. And let's see if I can throw a link for you guys in the chat. Maybe that'll help. How about that? Boom. There's a link, guys. That's my channel. If you guys want to check it out, I appreciate it. Honestly, I've lost subscribers. That's fine. I don't know. I guess it's probably about the same. I need subscribers. I'll be honest. That's one thing. If it gets over 1,000, I can actually monetize it, and it makes it a lot more fun to kind of try to put stuff out there. But again, the whole Law of One stuff that I've been doing is very cool. It's me reading it. I don't know. It's a tough read. It's a very tough read. Worse, harder than Goddard, for sure. But anyway, yeah, if you guys like it, I appreciate it. Wishing you guys all the best. Let's go ahead and fire off some music. I think that's the right disc. I hope so. I'm going to find out, because I can't play real music for more than just a second or two. Should be that one right there. We'll find out. Where are you? Nice. All right, you guys. Appreciate everybody. Yeah, thank you, Nicole. It's awesome. Martine, awesome, thank you. Brian Harris, thank you. Sadie, Kim W. Vish, thank you. Sadie, all you guys, man, this is fantastic. I appreciate you all coming in. Sharon Combs, love you guys. Anna Bach, is that how you say it when it's got the 2 dots over it? I don't know how to say it. It's not Bach, probably. It's Bach or something like that, maybe? I don't know. I'm trying. On the Hill, Miss Hill. Wow, we should get you two together. You're not going to have to change your last name, that's for sure, right? You could have On the and Miss together in matrimony, and then just last name just stays the same. I'm just saying. Love it. Man in BC, nice to see you as well. You guys are the best. Raysan, new name. I don't remember seeing that one. It's nice to see you in here. I don't know if you're still here or not. Galia, thank you. Faraj, I think I'm saying that correctly. Ann Holloman, Autumn Beauty, always. Amy K, thank you. Gisele, I think that's right, I hope. Elisa Grace. A lot of pressure with a name like that. I love it. North Star 143. Love you guys. Jamila, thank you. Paul Keeley. Happy heart. Aww. Give a dancy heart. It's always happy. Anyway, you guys are the best. Love you. Dan Radio Style. Thanks so much.